When the grand imperial fleet of the Glorian Empire first warped into the Sol system, it was a sight to behold. Thousands of sleek obsidian warships, bristling with weapons that could crack continents, arranged themselves in a perfect, menacing formation around Earth. Their message, broadcast on every frequency, was simple and blunt: surrender or be annihilated. The Glorians, a species known for their rigid discipline, imposing stature, and utter lack of humor, expected terror. They expected pleas. They expected a swift, pathetic capitulation from the soft, fleshy inhabitants of this backwater planet. What they got instead was laughter. It started as a ripple. On news broadcasts, live streams, and social media feeds showing the Glorian High Commander's ultimatum, a few chuckles could be heard. The High Commander, a towering figure named Xylar, stood on the bridge of his flagship, his face a mask of stern authority. His voice, modulated to be as deep and intimidating as possible, boomed across the planet. He listed his titles, the Glorian Empire's countless conquests, and the futility of resistance. But the more he spoke, the louder the laughter grew. Soon, it wasn't just a ripple, it was a tidal wave. All across the globe, from bustling city squares to quiet living rooms, humanity was collectively losing its mind with mirth. High Commander Xylar was baffled. He turned to his chief science officer, a lanky Glorian named Zorp. "What is this noise? This repetitive, irritating sound?" Zorp adjusted his optical enhancers, analyzing the data streams from Earth. "Commander," he reported, his voice trembling slightly, "our translators identify it as laughter. It's an expression of amusement." Xylar's 4 nostrils flared in disbelief. "Amusement? They find their imminent extinction amusing?" On the main view screen, a split image showed Xylar's grim face next to a human news anchor who was wiping tears of laughter from her eyes, struggling to deliver the report. The confusion on the Glorian bridge was palpable. They were the most feared empire in the galaxy. Their name was a whisper of doom on 100 worlds. No one laughed at the Glorian Empire. It was simply not done. Xylar ordered his communications officer to open a direct channel to the human leadership. He would demand an explanation for this insult. A harried-looking man with messy gray hair and glasses appeared on the screen, identifying himself as a representative of the United Nations. He was still suppressing a grin. "High Commander Xylar," the man began, "we receive your message. On behalf of humanity, I have to ask, are you guys for real?" Xylar's jaw, a complex arrangement of mandibles, clenched tightly. "We are the Glorian Empire. Our reality is the only one that matters. Why do you laugh?" The UN representative took a deep breath, trying to compose himself. It's your ships, Commander." Zorp, the science officer, immediately ran a diagnostic. "Commander, all systems are optimal. Our ships are the pinnacle of Glorian engineering." But the human on the screen was shaking his head. No, it's not the quality, it's the shape." He gestured vaguely. "They look, well, there's no delicate way to put this. They look remarkably like a children's toy from the 1980s, a very specific, blocky, brightly colored children's toy." A stunned silence fell over the Glorian bridge. Zorp frantically pulled up images from Earth's public data networks. He found it. A vintage commercial for a toy line called Star Blocks. The ad featured cheerful children clicking together plastic blocks to build spaceships. And there they were. The flagship of the Glorian fleet, the Annihilator, was a dead ringer for the Galaxy Cruiser model. The nimble Glorian interceptors looked exactly like the cosmic dart sets. Even the High Commander AS personal shuttle bore an uncanny resemblance to the Lil Captain's first rocket. The only difference was the color scheme. The Glorians favored intimidating black and red, while the toys were a cheerful mix of primary colors. The realization hit them like a plasma torpedo. Their entire military aesthetic, honed over centuries to inspire fear and project power, was seen by these primitive humans as a source of nostalgic childhood fun. The carefully designed claws of justice on their destroyers. The humans called them grabby hands. The menacing Eye of the Void command tower, that was the big window where the little spaceman sits. On Earth, the internet had already exploded with memes. Images of High Commander Xylar's face were photoshopped onto the box art of the toys. People were digging their old star blocks out of their attics and basements, staging mock battles against the Glorian fleet with tiny plastic figurines. Xylar felt a sensation he had never experienced before: embarrassment. It was a hot, prickly feeling that spread through his entire 8-foot frame. "This is illogical," he stammered. "Our designs are based on millennia of strategic and aerodynamic principles." The UN representative coughed. "I'm sure they are. It's just an unfortunate coincidence, a cosmic case of parallel thinking, you might say." Behind him, another aide whispered something, and the representative's eyes widened. "Oh, and there's more. Your Grand Imperial Anthem? The one you broadcast earlier?" Xylar braced himself. "What of it?" The representative bit his lip. "It has the exact same chord progression as the jingle for a brand of cat food called Meow Munchies." That was the final blow. The Glorian Empire, the scourge of the galaxy, the conquerors of 1,000 suns, had arrived at Earth looking like a toy commercial and sounding like a jingle for cat food. Xylar stared at his reflection in the polished deck. The fearsome helmet, the armor etched with the names of conquered worlds. It all seemed ridiculous now. He could almost hear the cheerful jingle in his head. "Meow, meow, 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 munchies!" He slammed his fist on the console, but it lacked its usual force. The bridge crew avoided his gaze, their own rigid composure starting to crack. Zorp was staring intently at a data slate, probably trying to calculate the statistical probability of such a colossal, multi-layered cosmic joke. The human on the screen cleared his throat. "Look, Commander," he said, his tone softening with something that sounded suspiciously like pity. "We mean no disrespect. It's just, you caught us off guard. We're a weird species. We find humor in the strangest places." He paused. "Tell you what, you look like you've had a long trip. Why don't you power down your weapons, park your fleet in a stable orbit, and we can talk. We can offer you a trade agreement. We have some excellent resources. And if you're interested, we have a booming entertainment industry. With your aesthetic, you'd be a huge hit in the retro toy market." High Commander Xylar looked at his crew. He saw the same exhaustion and bewilderment in their multiple eyes. The war horns were silent. The urge to annihilate had evaporated, replaced by a profound sense of the absurd. He looked back at the human. For the first time, he didn't see a pathetic, soft creature. He saw a being capable of a strange, disarming power he couldn't comprehend. The power to face utter annihilation and laugh. "Open a channel to the fleet," Xylar commanded, his voice no longer booming but tired. "Tell them to stand down." He then turned back to the human. "A trade agreement," he said slowly. "And tell me more about this cat food." The laughter on Earth eventually subsided, replaced by a sense of bewildered curiosity. The day the Glorian Empire came to conquer Earth was the day humanity accidentally weaponized humor, and the galaxy would never be quite the same. Thanks so much for watching. It is stories like these that make you wonder what other surprises humanity has in store for the rest of the universe. If you enjoyed this tale, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more adventures from the wild side of space. Let us know in the comments what you think the Glorians' next move should be. See you in the next one.